What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Chuff Money himself, Anthony Gallegos.
Hey, you know what? That hat really brings out your youthful look all over again.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah.
See, I've been regressing, you know what I mean? The hat was the seasonal wear for every episode in December. And then this week, the final week of Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, this is the final week of Kinda Funny Games Daily for the year. I put on the Christmas sweater that I got at PSX too.
Yeah, you have a childlike sense of wonder to you while you
look good
don that
yourself.
clothing.
You know what I mean? Look at how good you look in this collared shirt you're wearing.
I woke up and threw clothes on and walked out the door. So
I wish I could look that good just walking out the door. You know what I mean?
I think you do every day.
Oh, thank you very much. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get this bad. Before we go any further, what I need to tell you is that this message is for Emily. Andrew has a special surprise for you for your birthday, but you have to go find it. The first clue is that you need to go to the place where you guys had your first date. If you didn't know, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about before jumping in to your questions, comments, and concerns, giving you some perspective, reading bad PSN names, and everything else you send in to kindafunny.com/KFGD to be part of the show. You can watch live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, and if you do, it is your duty to tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Of course, set us straight by going to kindafunny.com/you'rewrong. Landed yesterday from the PSX.
Yeah.
And the meet and greet and all that jazz. Came in here.
Yeah.
And just right into shows. And I was exhausted, right?
Yeah.
And I'm obviously fighting something here in the throat. All this different stuff. Didn't do the rigmarole in the beginning yesterday. So we just ran it right in the episode. It was great episode. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm still on in terms of content wise. You know what I mean?
Right.
But even today, like that rigmarole wasn't exactly as locked up as I like it.
I've seen you dying from cancer before, and you still were like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring the energy, even if it's for 30 minutes, and then."
Yeah, exactly. So. Then power down. Yeah, okay. This is the last housekeeping. This is the last Kinda Funny Games Daily of the year. We've covered that. Emily, go to where you had your first date. Great, covered that. Big news for us, of course. We are a business that prides itself and relies on its Patreon, patreon.com/kindafunny and patreon.com/kindafunnygames. Patreon has decided not to roll out with those service fee changes that we were so against. We thank them for listening to us, the community, other creators, everybody else. That's fantastic news. Remember, it was one of those that we're lucky enough that you guys are with us through and through. We didn't see many people back off of our Patreon, but I know Danny's tweeted about it. I know a lot of smaller Patreons tweeted about it in terms of like they lost a lot of people when these service fees were proposed. Remember, you're voting with your wallet. They've listened to you. Go back to
now come back.
Yeah, go back to Patreons that you might have had to vacate before as you made tough choices. It means a lot, obviously, and that's also how it works in terms of, you did what we want. Now we'll support you again. This episode, of course, is also brought to you by Lisa.com and Omaha Steaks. You've heard the ads. They're really good Christmas gifts for everyone in your life, including the cat, but I'll get to it later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. That's how good he is. You understand, Kevin? He's going to do it with you.
He confused me. Should I not do it when he's here?
No,
You should definitely do it. I
stereo.
think we just need the double beeps. It's almost like when you see news shows and they have like a little bit of a reverb to it. I was just your reverb. That's all.
All right. Well, here's where it'll be interesting to see what happens. There are 3 items on the Roper Report.
Should I start? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
A baker's dozen!
Kevin, I used to always scream a baker's dozen when Colin would say how many there were, and then Kevin picked up the mantle, and I didn't know if you were doing that too because the beeps were in there too.
No. I don't want to. I'm not like trying to become Kevin.
No, don't do that. Nobody do that at home, please. Please, God, we can't take 2 of them. We cannot take 2 of them.
Everybody hates me.
Oh no, Kevin, I love you and you know it. Number 1 on the Roper Report: Predator is coming to Ghost Recon Wildlands.
What a weird thing.
What a great thing. What a great thing.
It's not a bad thing by any means. It's just like if you had asked, like, where are they going to take Wildlands, you'd be like, some more drug cartel expansion
more in
stuff.
Bolivia.
Blah,
what are they
blah,
doing
blah.
there?
But instead they went like straight, like that makes me think of the movie Predators. Do you remember that? Predators was the one with Adrian Brody
Yeah, I do remember
and the
that.
mercenaries on the Predator planet. Like, that's the vibe that I would get from like a Ghost Recon's like crossover.
Let me read to you from the UB blog. From December 14th through early January, the Predator will bring its unique skills to a special challenge that sees players solo or with up to 4 players in co-op, hunting the creature being hunted in return. Defeating the Predator will be no easy task, but if players manage to take it down, they will be rewarded with exclusive items, including the Predator Mask, which features Predator Vision. To help you fully embrace your inner hunter, the Predator Pack, available in the in-game store, introduces 15 new customization items inspired by the original movie, including weapons and a new close combat move. Ghost War, the free PvP mode for Ghost Recon Wildlands, will also get a Predator-inspired addition, a new class of soldier inspired by Dutch, the protagonist from the original movie, who can engage a battle rage mode to tip the scales in his favor. I won't lie, I gotta fucking play this.
I mean, it's the closest we're gonna get to a real Predator game in like anytime soon. And
Sure.
like, you know, there's been Predator games in the past and stuff, but Alien vs Predator by all accounts was a great game. But it's like it's been a long time, and I feel like the mechanics of Wildlands are good.
Yeah.
So this just fits for that.
To me, this speaks a lot to what I feel Fortnite did with Battle Royale.
Sure.
Where when we were excited for Ghost Recon leading up to it, when we got it, we played it, it didn't click for me. Kevin, I know, really dug it and played more of it. And it's one of those every so often I was like, oh, maybe we weren't playing it right. We were doing Let's Plays. We were horsing around being jerks. So, I mean, maybe if I actually got in there and had, co-op partners that were serious about it. But they put this in there and I'm like, oh, fuck, no, I really want to play this with the guys. I really want to do a party mode with this.
It's a weird thing, too, because it's like, you think about, what was the name of that game that tried a monster versus 4 people?
Evolve. Yeah.
It's like they're basically just taking some of those mechanics and being like, what if we just did that in our existing property?
I mean, it's that, but I mean, the problem with Evolve was that Evolve was so class-based. Where the reason Evolve, I think, failed was the idea of,
I don't have a medic.
I'm not a trapper. I don't know how to run this class, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like Left 4 Dead was great because it's just everybody go shoot shit.
Yeah.
This one, from what I've played of Wildlands, I'm sure there is, skill-based this, that, and the other, but I do feel like the 4 of us could jump in pretty easily and get in there and be like, all right, we know what we're doing.
Totally. And I think the Predator thing is cool because it's sort of an embracing of what Wildlands was, like in the sense that Wildlands had like this really serious story about, the drug cartels and you're taking it on and stuff. But like when I played it with my friends, we completely ignored that. We would just skip through it as fast as we could because the bottom line for us, that game was just a 4-player playground.
Right.
Like like our favorite thing to do was like, all right, let's all hop in the helicopter and we're flying over the land. And then without telling anyone, the pilot would bail out and all of a sudden the rest of us are in the chopper spinning towards the ground.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's just a silly, like fun place to experience like the cool third-person mechanics and stuff. And that Predator thing just like, I think that just shows that they know what they have and they'll lean into it.
Exactly. Well, it's Ubisoft doing what I think Ubisoft of 2017 does so well, and that's knowing what their games as a service is popular for and what people are actually playing for it and what would make sense for it, maybe outside of where it was before or what you thought of it before.
Sure.
In the same way that they've made Division, with this latest patch, a game a lot of people have come back to and been really stoked about, and the way they've hung in there with For Honor and the way that they continue to support Rainbow Six, like. They've done a great job of making these games that are ongoing be really well received. Not to mention that this is a great way to get me to come back. Because now it's like...
That's just it.
I want to come back and I want to play it with the guys. And then I'm sure that's going to lead to... This is actually more fun. And then it's going to be like, well, I'm starting from scratch. Poe, do you want to play? And actually get in there with people.
And it's like a place... It's like so different that it's like if they had just said, we have a new pack and it has some customization options and guns, it'd be like, I liked Wildlands. Maybe I'll go back.
Yeah.
But something as weird as this, which is like such an alternate way to play with a really different character, that's like enough that I feel like you get people who have been like, I don't know, I heard of Wildlands. Okay, this is like crazy enough. I'll check it out. Like,
yeah.
It is a big enough sort of addition and a weird enough addition. And I just say weird, it sounds like it's bad. It's not bad. It's just not what you expect.
I pulled this from these 2 paragraphs from the UB blog. There they have a Q&A with the developer, and one of them is like, all the legendary missions you've done have been just set in Bolivia. Why jump to the Predator now?
I mean, actually, isn't that I think that's where the Predator takes place, the first movie.
Oh, is it?
I think it might be in Bolivia.
The jungles of Bolivia? Really?
Yeah.
Kevin's shaking his head there, too.
It's definitely Central American jungles.
Okay.
You have to remember, I'm American, so anything below like Texas is just like
Mexico.
They're all one country.
It's really hot.
So.
Oh, Kevin, don't shake your Peruvian head at us. Yeah, I'm super excited to play it. I hope we have time. It doesn't work out well for me, the timing, because of course we're taking Friday's our final day of work, and then I'm on the road. But I'm sure they're putting this game up for a discount. Probably a great idea there. And you have a lot of free time. Like, get everybody involved, show everybody what's happening. I'm super excited to see what happens. Drops tomorrow. Exciting. Next story. Nintendo would like to make some mobile games faster. Now, this is according to the Wall Street Journal, but by way of IGN, because the Wall Street Journal always wants me to pay for the subscription, but then IGN
You
writes
get
it up.
two paragraphs in, and you're like, dang it.
Yeah, exactly. But IGN just pays for it because they got that Per Schneider money, and there they go. This is IGN reporting. Nintendo is reportedly looking to expand its mobile operations beyond its current partnership with DNA by working with more mobile developers in the hopes of, quote, raising the pace, end quote, of new mobile titles after last year's mobile revenue fell short of expectations, also in quotes. As reported by the Wall Street Journal, Nintendo's original intention was to produce 5 smartphone games with DNA by March 2017 after it bought a 10% stake in the company back in 2015. As of right now, it has only introduced 4 after Animal Crossing Pocket Camp launched last month. Nintendo executives insist their focus is not on squeezing more revenue from the mobile games themselves, but using those games to introduce mobile gamers to Nintendo properties in hopes of converting them to console or handheld titles. Traditional gaming is still considered a central tenet at Nintendo.
That's kind of weird in a way. Like, I feel like only Nintendo would say that. Most other people would be like, let's just try and shift them over to whatever one they're willing to spend money
Exactly. And honestly, I believe that's probably the case here.
on. Okay.
I think that's like, okay, but it's also like, then why isn't Animal Crossing Pocket Camp paired and give me something in an Animal Crossing game on Switch?
Like,
why
it's
isn't
the
Mario
Nintendo Club.
Run? Hey, Super Mario Odyssey's out. Super Mario Run now, you can do this and you get 4 additional moons that you can link through your Nintendo account.
Exactly. It's like, it just makes you think anecdotally about how I remember had like an 8th grade teacher or something that had written into one of the shows, and they had been talking about how he was talking to his kids about playing games, and they're like, "Oh, you play on console? You're so old."
Really?
Like, because they're just like all mobile.
Oh,
and so
wow.
it's like
Gross.
the idea of, I just feel like, like it could be that there will be a generational thing at some point, just because these are children who have literally grown up with like a mobile phone or something, or a tablet.
Well, this is, when they put out the stats of, whatever, there's 70% of everyone alive is a gamer, they mean that they play stuff on their mobile, which we as console people usually scoff at, right?
Sure.
Whereas in the same way, mobile gamers scoff at consoles. There's going to be a tipping point, where I feel like everyone's going to know what video games are and have played video games, but it will be that they played them on iPad and then never made that jump to something else.
Totally, but I just don't think it's like, to go back to our original point. It's just like Nintendo, they want their money wherever they can get their money.
Of course,
I feel like that. If they convert you, I guess that'd be cool, but I doubt that. I feel like the conversion rate of that's got to be so small.
And that's why I call bullshit in the quote is that the fact that the games aren't cross promoting and aren't making me go out and do that. Like, don't get me wrong, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp has my Nintendo ID, which is a nice thing. Okay, cool. Maybe it talks about different devices. It means, I think, smartphone to smartphone or iPad or stuff like that.
Sure.
But maybe, hopefully, when next Animal Crossing comes to Switch, there'll be something there. But the fact that it's not there, and the fact that they bought 10% of the company in 2015, Nintendo was in a way different position in 2015. And I think buying that stake, worrying about mobile, was very much like,
the Wii U's doing so bad.
Let's start, filling the coffers that way. Let's start having an exit plan in case we have to go the Sega route and we do leave and we do just publish third party. And then Switch came and it was amazing. And everyone's like, yeah, like, what about the mobile games? Like, fuck the mobile games. Nobody liked Mario Run. It's great. They always talk about how it just underperformed. And now Animal Crossing's out, but it's not the Animal Crossing people really, really want. I'm still playing it like a psychopath, but
It's
It snowed. Their gardening's coming soon. I got pretty stoked about that.
What stops you like playing that instead of just going back to like the 3DS one or something like that?
I don't want to carry I don't have my 3DS with me at all times. Like, Animal Crossing is strictly that. Oh man, like I'm in the Uber home, or I'm waiting between shows, or we come out here. Like, it's just a great game to pop in and do something for 5 seconds. And I've never had. I don't play mobile games often, but even when I played like Game Dev Story and I was super into that, I've never had a game in my life I run so hot and so cold on. Where there's like days where I'm like, I gotta get in here. I have a great idea to build the fucking shaggin' wagon in this thing. I want to do that. And then like, I didn't touch it at all during PSX, except for when somebody else would be playing like, oh, can we be friends? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And added my code.
Sure.
But like, I haven't jumped back. It hasn't, what it was is on, I guess, Monday when we were chilling out and I entered some codes, there was an announcement in there and I was like, oh, Joey, they're adding gardening and they're doing this and we're gonna be able to craft clothes. It's like, they're putting enough carrots out there that I'm pretty stoked to get in there and have that stupid stuff happen. But I'm also, I've only put $3 into it ever. And that was at the very beginning to see what it was like. And I like it a lot. I like it a lot knowing it's a bad game. It's not a good game. It's not Animal Crossing. But I'm excited to see where it goes. And it's always there when I want to just kill some time.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if it goes anywhere. Like, if they want to develop those deeper systems and bring it closer to a real Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Or if they're just going to eventually, just leave it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the hope would be that, they somehow... That's my campsite, and then in Animal Crossing Switch, I have my house, and you can go between them, do something different there.
Yeah, I earned some coins that I could have on my Nintendo account. Like
bells.
That would be Bell. Sorry.
Come on, don't be fucking this up. Don't come
I've
in here.
never been much of an Animal Cross player and Crossing player, and it's not because I don't like it. I totally love games about farming and stuff. It's just that I can't.
You can only do so much.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. I hear the stories of people, and I have already so many 100+ hour games that I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to pick your battles. Final story of the day for news. The Game Awards were huge this year. Shout out to Jeff Keighley. 11.5 million viewers around the world. That is an uptick of 202%. 3.8 million viewers watched in 2016. Did you watch?
I watched. I mostly just watched the trailers after the fact.
Sure. Yeah. It's an interesting uptick in. I mean, 202% is amazing, but it's also, I think, just the fact that Jeff's so great at getting on so many different platforms and having it streaming everywhere.
Well, and like me and Tim were talking about last week, people were like, it seemed like it was this thing about all these new trailers and stuff, but those new trailers drove views as well. Like, you watch the Game Awards because outside of E3, and like it's the place at the end of the year where you're going to actually get a new announcement.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's, people give it such a bad rap. And I mean, don't get me wrong, every time the Game Awards wraps, somebody wants to shit on it and be rude about it for some reason.
It's had some annoying things in the past.
Of course. Yeah.
But the
they've had missteps.
The nice thing is that he's always like he recognized it.
Yeah.
And straight up was posting on Reset Era talking about like, here's the things I know I fucked up on. You're like, oh, humility goes a long way.
Kevin, the doorbell rang. That could be the kegerator. Is anybody moving on the door? We're waiting on a kegerator here. I don't want to miss this kegerator.
No, I know.
But no, the fact that Jeff does care, and I feel like he gets a bad rap for that too. But I mean, same way anybody who makes anything on the internet gets shit on for some reason.
Well, and especially if you're not only making something on the internet, but it's also a business for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing people seem to forget is like, Jeff does this as a passion project, but he can't just be like, I want to make it the coolest thing ever and just for the gamers. It's like, I also have to afford a venue and afford to fly people and afford all these things.
Well, that's why I think he's done such a great job with it in terms of, 2016. I thought since the Spike TV part of it left, and Jeff got to build this award show, he's gotten closer and closer to making it the award show I think we're all happy with. And I would say that, honestly, I think this year was the best one he's done. I was super happy with it. And I think that comes from, too, at 2016, when, like, Kyle Bosman was like interviewing the Chic Hydro Man or whatever. You're like, like that's not playing the way it should. And that's when it was like, that's a kind of gross advertising thing.
Sure.
Not the Kyle part, just the Hydro Man being weird and out of place in this award show that we were trying to make serious, in quotes, as serious as video games need to be.
Sure. And it's the same thing, like even E3 press conferences, there's been like, not everyone gets it right.
Oh, yeah.
Year. I've watched Sony ones where I was like, they killed it. And then I've watched Sony ones that I was just like, oh man, like please someone just turn off the TV. It's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like,
and even this year, I felt like it went on way too long. And maybe that might be me sitting in the audience being like, I'm so fucking thirsty and cold right now. But I don't want to get up and, miss something or do it. I like the juxtaposition of there's the awards and then there are the trailers and the announcements and something cool there. But that's just me. And apparently though, 11.5 million
a lot of
people
agree with you.
Yeah,
yes.
We'll see. Anthony.
Yes, sir.
I'm stoked for Predator to come to Ghost Recon Wildlands, but that's all the way tomorrow. If I want to know what came to the digital mom and grop shops today, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily host each and every weekday.
Yeah.
Out today. Super Hydora for PS4 and Vita. Don't know anything about that one.
No, me neither, but there it is.
I don't often see games on the list that I'm like, no clue.
What I appreciate about it, though, is that they're like, nobody knows anything about us, so let's go on Wednesday. There'll be a million games out on Tuesday in the PSN. We'll go on Wednesday.
Night in the Woods, Xbox One.
Oh.
That's that. Yeah, a lot of
did you
people
play
love
it? Did you like it?
That was one that I sadly missed this year. But
I
I've
started
heard
it on
nothing but good
PlayStation
things.
4 and enjoyed it, but then it was the normal thing. I just got sidetracked. Something else played.
Yeah, it came out in a pretty busy time for me. And by busy time, I mean, I think it was like when I still am, but I was like deep in the Battlegrounds time. With that. So that was everything else got erased.
Sure.
Final Fantasy 15, episode Ignis. Is it sad that I had to sit there and think about those Roman
numerals? No, I do it all the time
second?
too. Where it's like, fuck, is this 14 or is this 15?
Xbox One, PS4. Desert Golfing. PC.
Yeah.
Stationeers. That's really exciting for me. I've been watching and keeping up with Dean Hall. That's the game. It's from Rocket Works, which is Dean Hall's company that he made after he left Bohemia. After he worked on DayZ with Bohemia. So he's no longer associated with DayZ. He's just doing his own thing. Stationeers looks really cool.
Tell me all about it. Well, I didn't know about it. I just added
You're building like basically space stations and facilities out in space, and it's got a little bit of that Minecraft vibe in the sense that you're hooking up very complex machinery and making sure that your circuitry works correctly and stuff like that. And literally just the ability to build out and explore these worlds and build these really complex facilities. Like that is not something that probably appeals to everyone.
Yeah.
But it's like that same part of me that like when I hear about like I actually tried a really complex. It's on PSN stuff now too. That like fishing game that's there. It's like a fishing simulator. It's like World of Fishing, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
Okay.
A really complex fishing game where it has like really hardcore mechanics, even with the lures and stuff. I was interested in that because I enjoyed games that dive a little bit deeper.
Well, you like
into the
processing
simulation.
your games. You loved FTL, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
did.
everybody loved FTL, but you were really into FTL.
Yeah, and
you
I
liked Kerbal Space Program a lot,
Kerbal
too.
Space Program, yeah, which is like more of like a simulation type thing. And I've actually gotten back into Rust recently, and that game has really upped its simulation. Like you know, like it used to be in Rust, you'd be like, I'm thirsty, and you would just eat something and it'd give you some water or something like that. Now in the game, I was like, oh man. Did we build our house near a river? Do we have jugs so I can go down and gather water? And people are like, we don't have to anymore. We got a rain catcher. And I was like, what? This game is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I ate people last night in that game.
You ate people.
Yeah.
Did you kill, like, you killed other players and ate their bodies?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've added cannibalism now. So, on the server we play on, we definitely eat whoever.
Is it still you and Mitch and all?
It's some of the original crew.
Because you
night-
had like a gang of bandits that tortured people.
Yeah, we're starting up our own server. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm actually going to be tweeting out. We're going to have a server, a private server that we're going to get going again, invite only to get a bunch of people in to relive the dream.
So what did you used to like run into people, hold them up, make them do stuff?
Yeah, for sure. We've done things like sold people into slavery. We he got out eventually. we used to like make people like kill each other. One time I think we ran into Charles Onyet and he didn't play the games and I didn't know it was Charles and we just murdered him. And like, but just like, you know, we were always messing with people. We'd make them eat raw chicken, which makes you throw up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, we'd give two friends one pistol and be like, kill your friend or else you both die. Like, it's a sociopath simulator.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Last night,
Sounds like a lot of fun.
my friend took screenshots of me throwing out chunks of cooked human meat to all my friends below me on a platform because I had just finished cooking them up on the barbecue grill and then we all just consumed. And when we ran out of human meat, we all stripped down naked and got swords out and battled each other so that we could then harvest the losers.
Gotcha.
So it's
Anthony Gayos looking for a job out there.
let's see. And the last game that's on this list for out today is Battlefront Last Jedi DLC is out. Adds Finn and Captain Phasma 2 maps and more. This completes the storyline. If you have finished, and I have played through recently the Battlefront campaign, it ends on a
Cliffhanger, right?
cliffhanger,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is going to conclude that.
So this is Iden, is that her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it concludes her story.
Right. And so, you know, it kind of, if you play through the campaign, it very much ends in a way that's like, I see where this is going. So
Yeah.
it's going to be her.
Did you like the campaign?
I thought it was okay. I found the most disappointing part for me.
Because you're a big Star Wars fan.
I am a big Star Wars fan, and you know, full disclosure, it's written by a friend of mine, Mitch Dyer, and
I know him too, but I guess I'm not friends.
Well, I
You don't want to speak for me. I understand. Just you and
assumed that you'd probably already said things like that previously.
Sure,
So
yeah.
since I don't do the show all the time, I felt like I had.
Okay, just point out. I know Mitch too. I know Walt.
Yeah, I know Walt as
I know
well.
Janina.
So,
Say.
anyways, you know, like I thought it was okay, but the thing that I was a little disappointed was originally when they proposed the story, I thought it was the story of like these basically hardcore Imperials that were basically like the SS, if we're being honest, like the way they're portrayed. Like they're the most insane Imperials of the Imperials. And it was just going to be their story. And so when I started playing missions, light spoilers, that you play as like movie characters, I was a little bit like, oh, suddenly I'm not playing like their story. Now, granted, those heroes interface with those characters like tertiary, like on the side, and you're like, it still kind of links back. But I was a little disappointed that it wasn't like their story the whole time. We don't need to worry about the movie characters. We want to tell this original Star Wars tale about these characters and only these characters. And I was a little disappointed by that. But I still thought it was... What it does really well is it does link back into the films and do a little bit of character development for like Luke. And you see like... I think there's a little allusions in there. You're going to see how he ended up being the guy that he is in The Last Jedi that seems disillusioned and stuff like that. And
Okay.
It's reestablishing certain characters, and like the books have been doing that too, the new books. Of making Luke that, you know, in the old books, the legends now, Luke became like the most crazy force wielder that he might as well have been Yoda, or even more powerful than Yoda with the things he could do. And in the new books, it very much treats Luke like someone that doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's trying to figure
Stupid
out what he
farm
wants.
boy can't figure
and
out.
yes, and he's just like, the Force is not all powerful. Like when Luke goes and swims underwater, he comes up, he's like gasping for air. Whereas in the later books, he's like, I just use the Force to bolster my lungs so that I could stay underwater for 30 minutes and just all kinds of crazy crap. So, anyways, it's all right.
How excited are you for tomorrow to go see the new one?
Pretty excited. I mean, if I people are always surprised that I'm not like screaming out of my chair because I have like Star Wars tattoos and all that shit.
Yeah.
The thing is, for me, is when they announced Episode 7 and I saw the very first trailer, I was like super excited because I was like, it is new Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now though, we get new Star Wars every year.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep that level of like 10. Like, oh geez, it's so crazy. I'm always stoked. I'm always going to be there day one. Like if I was employed, I would have taken tomorrow off. And I always have every year since the new Star Wars Rogue One. I always take the day off and I go sit in the movie theater the whole day, just like I did to watch movies when I was like 20. So
Wait, what do you mean you sit there the whole day? You mean you see it over and over and over?
like,
again?
no, I don't get assigned seating. I literally go
Oh,
and
you
line
wait
up
in
super
line.
early for like the line experience and spend
Gotcha.
all day in line. Like last year, I was playing like a Star Wars card game with my friend. You know, it's the tradition we've had
That's
forever.
awesome.
So I still go do that sort of stuff, but it's just I'm by all accounts, this movie sounds really awesome. So I'm very excited for it. But yeah, not like sky high in the same way
That's
that
fine.
I used to.
That's fair. I was just checking in. Got some new dates for you. Xenon Valkyrie Plus comes to Vita on Tuesday. Street Fighter 20th Anniversary Collection is coming in May 2018 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It's $40. Here's every game in it.
Wow.
Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, including online play, Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, including online play, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, including online play, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, including online play. Thank you to Reset Era, where I grabbed that list off of. I watched the trailer, obviously.
Yeah.
They had it all listed out already.
It's funny that, like, you know, if it was me and someone was like, make our, you know, hey, Anthony, can you just make our Super Street Fighter compilation? I'd be like, shouldn't we just take the most recent version of whatever? Like, yeah, we just want to put Turbo Edition of Street Fighter 2, Third Strike of
This is
Street Fighter
celebrating
2.
20 years.
Well, that's just it. So many people are like, I specifically like this because they tweaked the hitboxes on this guy between one and this. So, like, it is just beyond my understanding of, like, my appreciation, I should say. Like, how much people really want a specific version. What's up?
That's kind of funny that comp/slash you're on 20 year, right? Is it not 30 years?
It says 20th anniversary.
That's what it's there. Did I fuck that up or did I copy it?
1998. That makes sense. Wait, 1998.
No,
It
that's-
seems like it has to be way earlier.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know who fucked that up, me or Reset, but I'll blame myself. 30-year anniversary.
Wow.
Metal Gear Survive has resurfaced as well. It's going to get a beta January 18th through the 21st on PS4 and Xbox, and then coming out February 22nd, 2018.
Really?
Fuck
Does
yes,
Kevin
says
actually
Kevin.
feel that way?
No, Kevin doesn't
Okay,
feel that
okay,
way. Yeah,
okay.
it's going to be interesting because what the reaction is and how much of a fair shake it won't get a fair shake. But
I feel like that game's gonna go the way of that Resident Evil online multiplayer game where you it was like a co-op thing against zombies and it was really, really terrible.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was called Resident Evil, but we all buried it.
Well,
like,
they put out
immediately.
there's like a 6-minute or 8-minute developer diary thing out today about it, where they're like walking through the single player campaign. Like, it's a spin-off to Metal Gear Solid 5, and it's just like,
Maybe it can. I doubt. I just feel like. Well, I guess this will be the test. Does a non-Kojima Metal Gear? How much does it really matter? It
Right.
matters, obviously, but will it translate into like 80% less sales, 20% less sales?
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Deals of the day for you. The Great Tale of the Holiday Sale has started on PSN. It goes on for multiple weeks. There's a million games discounted. Go look at them. I'm not going to list them all for you. I got things to do. Reed Asher, a.k.a. Darth Musician, who wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD.
That's a weak Darth name, by the way.
Darth Musician?
Yeah.
Asher says, hey, Greg and Anthony. So PlayStation is having an awesome deal this week, just in time for the holidays. The Gran Turismo PS VR bundle is only $199. I immediately thought of how amazing this deal is, especially after finally getting to try PSVR for the first time at PSX this weekend. I was all ready to pull the trigger on PSVR, at least until I did some research on the deal. It turns out that the reason it is so cheap is because the PSVR model included in the bundle is actually the older version, the one that doesn't support HDR pass-through. Now, normally, I don't care too much about these things, but I recently upgraded to a 4K TV and a PlayStation 4 Pro and have been absolutely blown away by the quality of 4K HDR graphics. I'd hate to lose out on HDR functionality on my new TV in order to use PSVR. So, this makes me consider forking the extra cash for the newer model. In fact, the extra cost has swayed me so much that I'm actually considering getting Xbox One S instead, since they're also on sale right now and around the same price point of $200. I'm primarily a PlayStation gamer, and I've yet to own an Xbox One. I had a 360 forever ago, but I'd love to try out some highly rated Xbox exclusives like Cuphead, Gears of War, and most recently PUBG, to name a few. What do you guys think? Is the older model of PlayStation VR worth it at that low price of $199, or should I pony up the extra cash and buy a newer model, or should I just skip PSVR now and buy an Xbox One S instead? Love to hear your thoughts on this. Keep up the great work.
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's funny that he talks about having the HDR, like he has to give it up. Really, you don't. It just means you have to actually go back there and swap the cables.
Ass, right? Like last night, I turned on the Xbox to install PUBG and play, and it was that thing of go to input 3. Oh, fuck, input 3's got the switch in. Gotta get up there, pull out the cord, put in the Xbox.
Or you could get a switcher. Yeah. A switcher too. Like literally, you could just push the buttons and then it could pop between the two.
Yeah, but I mean that's like it's thought process that I don't have.
So yeah, I guess to me it's like I see it as really a non-issue. There are easy ways to get around that PSVR thing. Mm-hmm. To me, I just don't think VR is worth it at this point. Really, like that's the sad thing. Even at $200, like I own a Vive. I bought it for $700.
Sure.
And but I just don't think that there's like the breadth of experiences on there that justify the expense of the piece of hardware at this point. $200 gets close, but it's like I don't. Like, I mean, yes, and they are continuing to support it. Sony is for now.
Yeah.
I could see in a year, though, that's not going to be the case. I don't know. Sony surprises me with how long they'll go on supporting things.
Yeah.
But I just feel like to me, getting that other system, an Xbox One S in that case, and having those extra experiences that you never got to do and that you probably won't get to do. I mean, Battlegrounds, that sounds like it will come to PlayStation at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But it may just be like next fall.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I find myself... I want to say reinvigorated for PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
In the way that it launched, it was super exciting. Played all the launch games and then put it down and really haven't touched it outside of a few Let's Plays here or there.
Sure.
And what I've been doing is stacking the games of like in my little VR folder of things I want to play that'll justify me like, okay, this is why I want to set it all up or move it all around. But then coming out of PSX and looking into 2018, like there's a lot of cool shit on the horizon for 2018 with like, I really want to play Moss. Like that game from the demo we got to do for E3. That's up on Kind of Funny games right now, YouTube. I really enjoyed that. And then playing, I always fuck up the name, but Firewire, not Firewatch, but Fire whatever the fuck. Kevin, can you give me a Google search on that? PlayStation V. Go to the PlayStation blog. It's up right now. Sid and I talked about it on the blog cast, and then there's a preview up for it right now. PlayStation VR Fire something or other. Have you heard about this one? It's 4v4. PlayStation VR. Here we go. Scroll down, Kev. Oh, there it is. Firewall 0. Go all the way to the top again.
Yeah.
Firewall 0 hour.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the with like the really complex like breaching and
right.
Kind of looks a little bit. It looks like first person Rainbow Siege in a way.
Exactly. It looks just like that, and it reminded me a lot of Rainbow Six Vegas or whatever kind of thing. But yeah, like. Putting that on and like, all right, I put it as like, oh, this, and this isn't an insult to other VR games, I hope. This feels like a real game. Like, this is something me and Andy were playing and having a great time. They're like, do you want to do one more? And we were both like, yes. Do you want to do one more? Yes.
The real game thing is a thing that I think about all the time. Like, I've played very few things that I think of as like, here's like my $50 or $60 experience. A lot of it, you're like, that was an interesting 15-minute tech demo that like I would like to see fleshed out into like a bigger thing. So that's the reason I'm most wary about VR stuff these days.
As somebody who's covered PlayStation right for a decade and has seen them, here's the Move. Oh, fuck, don't support the Move. Here's the Vita. Oh, fuck, don't support the Vita. The fact that it was, here's VR. It went a year and then it was quiet. It's been quiet and the indies have been supporting it, right? And then this would be, we've already done 1 year, so we're in year 2. So year 2.5, here comes a whole bunch of other shit to actually play. And like Accounting Plus, like I was laughing so hysterically at that trailer. I'm like, I gotta fucking play that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you can get it and $200 is not like breaking the bank for you, just obviously you understand that it's actually going to be more like $400 probably because you're going to end up buying a bunch of games and stuff like that. If that's cool to you, like just go out there and find curated lists. There are totally curated lists of like, here's the absolute must play things, you know. And
I was talking to Tim in 2018. I want to do more with PlayStation VR in particular because it's just the one we have a Vive, but I can't use a Vive at home, whereas I can use a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, totally. I'm very fortunate that I have a dedicated Vive space.
All that said, if there's enough Xbox exclusives for you to play, buy that. I mean, it all comes down to look at the lineup for PlayStation VR, look at the lineup for Xbox One, and decide which one you're going to get the most use out of.
Also, do you still have a functioning 360? If not, then like the Xbox One also supports all those games.
Yeah, the backwards compatibility is amazing, right?
So,
I do want to talk about PUBG with you, Mr. PUBG.
Yeah.
And so that'll answer some of your questions as well, Asher. So we're going to switch over to reader mail. But before we get to the questions, I want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Lisa and Omaha Steaks. 2 great gifts for the holidays. Why do I say this? Because Lisa, of course, is where you order an online mattress. They ship it to your door, compressed in a box. Then you take it out, and it goes, it inflates. Now, you might say, that's a bad gift. But I say, no, sir. It is a gift times 3. Number 1, you and your partner get an amazing mattress. Number 2, the kids get to walk in the room, see this mattress inflate. They'll think it's amazing. Number 3, there's a box for your cat to play in.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. It actually comes in a surprisingly small box, so it is, like you said, a cat box.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I remember my parents got like a washer and dryer. It was awesome having those gigantic boxes.
Oh, sure, for
As
kids
a
to
kid.
play in.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, no. That's something I think about with all the cardboard in my house right now, that when we have kids, like, I'm going to make awesome cardboard forts for them. You know what I mean? That'd be great. But back to Lisa thing. It's a mattress. It's great. They ship it to your door. It's compressed. It's easy. You get a 100-night sleep trial. You can sleep on it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, they'll take it back. They'll refund your money. Everybody has a good time. I went to a mattress store. It sucked. I didn't like the people there. I didn't like the pressure of it. I like instead...
Lay down in front of me. Always a weird thing.
Joey Noel sleeps on this mattress and loves it. That's all you need to know. There you got one ringing endorsement from Kinda Funny. You can get your mattress from them starting at $525, but you get $100 off right now by going to lisa.com/kindafunny and entering the promo code kindafunny. That's LEESA.com/kindafunny. Promo code kindafunny, all one word. Second sponsor, Omaha Steaks. Kevin, do we love Omaha Steaks? That's a yes.
Yeah.
We made the Extra Life meal. I sent it to my dad for Christmas because me and my dad don't understand each other, and he sent it back to me because he liked it so much, showing how much he enjoyed it. And he was very impressed that meat could be shipped across the United States. And, you know.
And stay awesome. Yeah, I mean, it seems like you'd never like did a Portillo shipment or something when you were around
he
him?
ships it to me all the time, but I'm not going to ship my dad Portillos, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but he didn't, that didn't get him
Well,
the
I mean,
concept
like when
that
my
meat-
dad ships me anything, right, it's really him asking his wife to send me something. He doesn't know what's happening.
Okay.
Dad used Skype once and was just like, what is this? What is this magic? You know what I mean? Like, all right. But back to Omaha Steaks. For $49.99, you can get my family gift pack. That's 75% off the real price. What do you get? You get 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages, 4 burgers, 4 potatoes au gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, 1 Omaha Steak seasoning packet, plus 4 additional kielbasas for free. I can speak to this. I love the kielbasas. They were among my favorite things off the Omaha Steak thing.
But the filet mignons?
Oh, they were great too. I mean, the steak you expect to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can go back and watch our extra live stream somewhere probably and see us eating this meat. You go to omahasteaks.com, enter my code KFGames in the search bar, get the 75% off. That's KF Games, all one word, at omahasteaks.com. Some people can't get it to work on mobile. Use a more traditional device, like a computer, where you can also play hot games like Minesweep and Clippy. Hey, the Minesweeper's got to still be out there, no?
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but Clippy?
Well, who's rebooting Ski Free? That's what I want to know. Sean from Virginia writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, Kevin, turn the stopwatch into a clock. He also says, loving PUBG on Xbox. My first chicken dinner was dedicated to Kinda Funny Games Daily. Hi, Greg and Anthony. As I only game on consoles, Kinda Funny stories and discussions sparked an interest in PUBG on Xbox. So much so that I purchased the new version last night. I had no idea what I was doing, no clue about the controls, aiming, using attachments, etc., as I rarely play shooters and never play online games. However, the gameplay was tense and immersive, and I am astonished to report that on my second attempt, I was able to win my first chicken dinner.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people on their first games were getting it. I audibly yelled in elation, nearly waking up the 3 sleeping children, and most impressively, the achievement drew muted curiosity from my wife rather than the usual eye roll. I'm hearing in the press that the game is not well optimized for Xbox, suffering frame rate drops and poor textures, but to me, The experience was truly one of a kind. Have either of you checked it out on Xbox? And could PUBG on Xbox be a truly transformative exclusive, drawing in people like me who would never normally play the game? Really love what y'all do. Sean from Virginia. Have you played on Xbox?
I have not yet.
Yeah.
But it suffering from frame drops and poor textures doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, I played on a machine that is probably on par with an Xbox One X in most respects. In some cases not, but even people I know who have like the craziest top of the line computers, they still run into performance issues, right? So the fact that it's running performance issues on Xbox One X, especially when it's part of their game preview program,
it's game preview, and it was night one. Like
Yes.
I was surprised it ran. Period.
Yeah.
Let alone that. Yeah, when I jumped in and played, as soon as it boots up, it was like, whoo.
But it's the same thing on, when I played it on PC. At first, I was like, why is anyone playing this? It's runs so bad.
Yeah.
And then I had my first couple of rounds that I kept going with, and I was like, it is exactly what this guy said. It's a super tense thing. There's nothing else that offered that sort of experience out there at the time. There are other competitors now.
Yeah.
But it's tense experience combined with the way that it does like bullet velocity and actually has bullet drop and stuff. There is nothing else out there like that. And so I do think that it could see a ton of success on Xbox for exactly the same reason. Like, yes, you were running into these issues, but you were like hooked because
The gameplay is great.
The gameplay was great. The design is really good, and you experienced like. Tell me that feeling you had when you won that chicken dinner was like. Have you ever felt that way from winning a match in any shooter ever before? Probably not. I know I haven't. Like no shooter has ever made. Like maybe if I played a shooter and I was playing like in a tournament situation for thousands of dollars, I would get the same heart pounding. But otherwise, like when I get into one-on-one fights with people in Battlegrounds, still like 9 months later. I sometimes will feel afterwards, and I can feel my heart literally pounding in my chest that hard because it's that tense to fight a person. Like, no response. It just makes a huge difference.
100%. And well, it's because it's that thing of, I jumped in last night, played, 5 or 6 rounds before I switched over to do some Destiny, and then everybody's golf, just because I was in the mood to get around. And it reminded me immediately of, oh, right, this is I really loved this on PC.
Yeah.
And it's that thing where we did a bunch of Let's Plays and just horsed around at the office here with it. And so to get home last night, turn it on, and hear like, oh, it's this, that, and the other. And of course, the PC snobbery on the Twitter space of, oh, it's this, so why would I didn't play this? Turn it on and jump in, and it was like, even in the loading thing, like there's like everything's just like blocky and muted, like ugh. And then the plane was going, and it was and it's not there yet. It needs a whole bunch of optimization, but it was. I jumped out and I got on the ground, and it was immediately as I'm coming down to my parachute. Oh fuck, that guy's going to the same house. Clearly that I am. Fuck, and running around, getting stuff, and trying to learn the controls again. Like I remember how clunky it is on PC, but then to move it to a PC or a controller for the first time, me playing it on a controller, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, how to do that, blah, blah. But figuring it all out and getting there, and like, I think the farthest I got last night was 15, like, which is not
respectable.
bad. Yeah, exactly. And it was, I play, of course, like the camping coward I am, where it's like the thing encroaches and I just move a little bit and I'm like hiding behind a tree.
You're
like,
right on the edge, I
just need to watch this side. And sure enough, I looked behind, there was like smoke grenade went off. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm dead. I'm like, god damn. But it is that. Fuck, this is awesome. This is so much fun. And it's learning to play. It's got its own feel and vibe, which is so different and weird, I guess to say, because I started off and I was like, man, I've played not a bunch, but enough Fortnite since I played PUBG on computers. So to pick it back up, it was that initial thing of just like, well, Fortnite feels better. Like Fortnite feels like way more
technically competent.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. But then it was that I haven't had these moments already in Fortnite where it is like usually I see somebody, I try to, again, cowardly build myself into a corner so they don't know where I am, but I always get killed.
Well, Fortnite has a little bit more of a vibe of like Quake in a way with its speed in the combat. A lot of times you're like, you see people like jumping and they're shooting shotguns at each other and stuff and literally firing rockets. I mean, you can literally jump on a rocket and ride a rocket in that game. Like it's much more over the top. And Battlegrounds still like, just like with the ballistics they have and the way they model it, it just feels, it is hard enough to kill someone that it feels really good when you actually pull it off.
Yeah.
And I think someone else that was talking about why does it feel really good to kill someone? I feel like someone once told me that every person you kill in Battlegrounds is a loot box. And it's true. You get to open a loot box every time you kill someone, And eventually when you get high enough skill,
because you're saying you run over there and go through their stuff.
Yeah, and you're like, what do they have? Because that might have, like, I've had games that have been won or lost based on the fact that I killed someone late game and I had no meds. And like all of a sudden I was like, dude, that dude just gave me the win because I have all these meds now, or I didn't have the scope that I desperately needed, and I just got lucky to luck into that. And so there is like that exhilaration of going down and looting someone every time. I think that that's like something that can't be underestimated. And eventually you'll get good enough to the point where now when I see someone, I can spot what they have at a distance based on their silhouette. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not going to headshot him because I want his level 3 helmet. So I'm going to go for body shots on him. So when I take him down, I know that I can take
You're a
that
psychopath.
helmet.
That was the thing that was funny about last night is like, one of the first games I got the shotgun. I'm like, great. This other guy had a machine gun, and he ran in, and it was like I came around the corner and shot, and he did that thing where he like boop teleported over there. I'm like, oh fuck this goddamn laggy ass game. Come back and hide, and then we were just doing this crazy, and it was like a lot to go in PUBG. But I remember when PUBG did originally launch, and it was a train wreck, and people are doing it.
Yeah, and it still has a long ways to go even on PC.
Yeah.
But obviously they have the money, and they're continuing to ramp up studios to keep working on it. So I don't think that's like. It's not like even like when the game hits 1.0 very shortly while you guys are on Christmas break.
Yeah.
1.0 is not going to be like, all right, we
it's a
shipped
real
it.
perfect game.
We're done now.
Yeah. It's gold and launching, dude.
Yeah.
Hypnotoad writes into kindoffunny.com/KFGD and says, we've all heard the speculation. There's no way Nintendo keeps up this pace. They blew their load in the Switch's first year of games and saw incredible sales. Now we're going to see a sharp decline. He's basically quoting Andrea from yesterday. But I see a big wrinkle in that theory. Recent history shows that things may be more complicated than exclusive games equal sales. The PS4 had a relatively slim first year of exclusive games. Knack, Killzone, Infamous, and even year 2 didn't light the world on fire. LBP3, and Bloodborne. So what's your take? Considering that the PS4 was so light on exclusive games in the first 2 years and still flew off shelves, how was Sony able to accomplish it, and does it correlate with where Nintendo will be with the Switch in the coming year? What can Nintendo do to keep the pace?
So I think he's limiting himself a little bit when I read this, thinking that when he thinks of its first year of exclusive games only being Sony first party. Because there were other, like actually, I worked on 2 games that were exclusive to console on both Sony, and they were out in the first year. And they were only on Sony. So there were a lot of indie studios that were putting out indie content. Only, and like it may come to PC, but it was, if you want it on console, it was only on Sony. And I think the same thing's going on with the Switch. There's like things like snipper clips, you're not playing that anywhere else.
Sure.
So it's like there are games that are coming to it that like you realize like, oh, this is the place to play that. Like I think that some of these indie games too like have been out again in places like PC and some of them even on PSN, but I think it's just like they are seeing a lot of new life on that console, and I think that it's just people getting excited. I mean, people are excited about the idea to take these games with them.
Yep.
As weird as that is, as weird as it seems, like,
well, I mean, it's that idea of when I go home and I sit down in front of the PlayStation 4, I want not even an exclusive. I want a game that is defined by the TV and online connectivity and teraflops and whatever the fuck, right? So it is, I'm playing PUBG with 99 other people, or I'm running around with Friday the 13th and I'm voice chatting, I'm gonna do all these different things. So when I want to jump into something on my PlayStation and I look over and I see Stardew Valley, it's like, well, Stardew Valley is great, but I could easily play that on the Switch when I'm on the plane.
Exactly. Now you can take Stardew Valley with you, and that's like makes like a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, what they need to do to keep the pace is what you're talking about, is have indies there like they did this year, have tentpole exclusives that are going to drive people. But the one thing that they don't have that PlayStation 4 had at the launch of the PlayStation 4 and through year 2 was, hey, here are awesome third-party AAA games. And that's what we're not going to see, I don't think this year, at least not in droves, of, hey, Ubisoft's put out this, like Assassin's Creed Black Flag was on PlayStation 4 at launch. And that game was so fucking good.
That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a PlayStation game to me. Even though it was out on Xbox One, I thought of that as a PlayStation
And that's
game.
where PlayStation made up so much ground, and where I think coming in, we were like, oh man, the exclusive lineups are weak. But it was the fact that come fall, people are putting amazing games out that are third party, so they're on Xbox as well, they're on PC as well. But you already bought the PlayStation for these exclusives, so there's something there for you.
I think Nintendo can also keep up that pace by finding more companies that want to do HD re-releases on the handheld.
Yeah.
Like things like LA Noire and stuff like that. Like, I didn't think I'd be excited for LA Noire again, but then it being, again, where I can take it with me, I'm like, I would maybe play through the entirety of LA Noire again, which is a really good game and everyone should play it.
For me, that's like the Switch with Skyrim, right? Of like, okay, cool. It's on Switch and it's on PSVR. PSVR for me is, sure, I'd love to pop in and see how it runs and what it looks like, and that's neat. Switch is like, yeah, you know what? I might make a new character this next week when I'm at home in Chicago watching TV with mom.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, that's a great, that is with me. It's an open world RPG. I can go out and quest and do whatever and come back and be done with it. It'll be interesting. I don't think they can keep the pace they have now.
Yeah.
I don't think they can replicate this year, but I don't think they're going to completely fall off and nobody's going to want it. I think it is going to be that, hey, we have awesome indie stuff that's coming. Owlboy is still coming at some point, right? Like, I can't wait for that. And I know that, again, that's been something that's on PC, but no, I'll wait for it and have it whenever I want to go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo is set up for success at this point. They have enough games that have, now that the system sold 10 million too, you are going to start getting more third party who are like,
people can't ignore
it is worth our time.
Exactly. James Whalebait99 Krill writes in to kindoffunny.com/KFGD, just like you can and should. It says, not necessarily a question to be read on the show, but a suggestion. Too bad, motherfucker. When there's traffic outside the office and car horns are honking and stuff like that, could you just mention that it's happening, please? I listened to the show in my car, and a couple of days ago, I was sure I had a handful of angry drivers right behind me. Thanks, Whalebait. All right, good. All right, cool. We can do that. That's fair. Because when the sirens are going off, I have seen that before.
I just heard bells. A bells from the Muni.
I will not call out when the Muni rings its bell.
Okay.
Because I think that's a pretty unique San Francisco thing. But when there are the honks and the screaming, hey, Spider-Man, we'll call that one out there for you. Final question of the day goes to Doug. Doug says, what's good, Greg and Anthony? I've been waiting to ask this question when there is a developer co-hosting. So here it goes. Why are a large majority of studios located in some of the most expensive cities to live in the country? As an aspiring game developer, I can't imagine taking my wife and son to live in one of those cities. Why don't development studios work out of smaller cities where the cost of living is much lower? Thank you for all your hard work, Doug.
Some do. You can live in Raleigh, North Carolina if you want to work at a place like Boss Key or Epic, or even Insomniac has a studio there. The guys that make Smite, and Hi-Rez is the name of the studio, and they work out of Georgia. So there's a lot of... I
forget it, and you can correct me, but like Gun and Ilphonic, the people who are doing...
They're in Colorado.
Yeah, one of them I thought was in Kentucky, or I'm thinking of somebody else, but yeah.
And it's like... And so like there are... You can find it. Like Madison, Wisconsin, I believe that's where the new PUBG studio is.
One of the PUBG
and like,
Corp studios.
I think Raven is still out in Wisconsin as well. So it's not that they don't exist. It's that he's saying, like you said, the vast majority is because if I'm working for a studio and I work in the game industry, which obviously is very volatile, do I want to move to Madison, Wisconsin, or Champaign, Illinois, which is where the Saints Row guys are?
Yeah.
And it's like, if I move to Champaign, Illinois, and something were to happen to that studio, I've bought a house. My skills are game designer. What am I going to do? Like now there's no other jobs to work at. So yes, you move to these really expensive places and they're really expensive because there's a ton of people working at jobs, tech industry, it raises the price. But at the same time, you're there because when the bottom falls out, there are 40 places you can apply to rather than 0 or 1.
What are the big ones now? Because I feel like SF isn't as big as it used to be.
Yeah,
right?
SF is a big mobile market, I would say, at this point. There's less big... I mean, even EA Red Ridge Shores is still there, but it seems like they've scaled down operation. I mean, they got rid of Visceral.
Yeah.
And so I would say at this point, a lot of them are...
LA, right?
LA still has a pretty big scene. Yeah, there's like a bunch of big studios down there. And obviously Activision's located there. And then it's a lot of Canadian cities.
Yeah.
Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, like all those cities have definitely blown up. And I think a lot of it's because they're tax places. But I also think that within the next 10 years, we'll see places like North Carolina and stuff blow up because the reason I think North Carolina is big is if I remember it, they do offer tax breaks because they're trying to lure in tech companies.
That's what, they put that Insomniac out there too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like they want tech companies to come out because they want these places.
The way that works too, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the fact that, okay, cool, they do lay off staff or people have worked there long enough and want a new thing. They leave, but they found their own thing right there. Similar like what Cliff did with Boss Key, right?
Yeah.
Where, I'm living here because of Epic or whatever, and then breaks off and does something new.
Right.
And then other people go and do that, and you have this little thing. It's similar to how like what we've done, right? In terms of like, all right, we leave IGN, but we stay in San Francisco. We make it fun.
And I feel like there's just that's how game communities start. Like I don't think that there was necessarily always a huge game community like of developers anywhere. But like it takes one studio going out there and then eventually maybe breaking up, or maybe someone realizing, oh, that is a cheaper area. Let's move a second one out there, and then a third.
Well, Austin, right? Like Austin's up and coming. I feel like there's more
Austin,
out there.
Austin definitely has a ton at this point.
Yeah.
It used to have, I think it's like took a slight decline and then it's like gone back up. But it's also like Sacramento has game studios now. Like there are definitely places that are not the single most expensive place to live where you can find game studios. But again, it's always at the risk of you may have to move. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Is there's always.
What would be the advice for Doug then? I feel like I know a lot of indie games seem to be like, I'm like, oh, where are you guys located? I'm like, oh, we're spread across the world. We have people doing this and doing that.
When you're first starting out, it's hard to find a studio that'll let you work remotely. But they do exist. Like a lot of the guys that work on The Long Dark and stuff, like they have remote staff because they're located in a kind of remote place in Canada.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I think you should maybe swallow the fact that you may just like think about it in a 2-year plan. We're gonna go there for 2 years so that I can get experience and then bounce anywhere I want. Like I'm gonna go here and ship one game with Bungie and live up, in the north where it's really busy and stuff and maybe more expensive, but like then we'll have that experience. Like that's just the reality of it. Like sadly, I mean, it's like we don't live in a place where your local hometown has a game studio, and even if it did, again, then you run the risk of if the bottom falls out, where are you gonna go?
Move to Seattle. It's nice. Time to squad up. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD. You give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in games. I read it here. The best friends come and find you. Everybody plays together and has fun. Ross writes in. He's on PlayStation 4. His PSN name is RosscoFaeMoscow. That's RosscoFae Moscow. RosscoFaeMoscow says, "Hello, KFGD team. Greetings from Scotland. Oi, governor." I wasn't going to do it because you put a whole fucking paragraph in there explaining why I shouldn't say oi. And I was like, that's too much work. So, oi, governor, motherfucker. Write shorter letters. These days, I find my online squad is dwindling and need of help to find kind of funny best friends. I've got lots of online buddies playing FIFA and GTA, but I'm more of a Destiny, Rocket League, Madden guy. I bought Overwatch, and while it's fun, none of my PSN buddies have it. So I've barely put any time into it and still haven't done the Destiny 2 raid or trials as I haven't been able to gather a full squad. And with Star Wars, The Last Jedi out this week, I expect I'll finally be caving into EA and buying Battlefront 2 as well. My username is RosscoFaeMoscow on PlayStation 4. Side note, Fae is a Glasgowian way of saying from, and I'm not from Moscow. So this is a dumb PSN name that I wish Shuhei would let me change. So for anyone playing Destiny 2, Battlefront 2, Overwatch, Rocket League, or Madden on PlayStation 4, add me. Thanks in advance for all your help. Keep up the good work, and happy holidays to all of the Kinda Funny crew, best friends, and your respective families. That's RosscoFaeMoscow. A bad PSN name. Terrible. Terrible, Kevin.
Terrible.
Time for You're Wrong. Let's look at this dynamite list of what the fuck people. You better delete them if we didn't. You're kind of funny. Remember, it's your job if you're watching live to go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Keep us honest. Tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight. For everybody listening later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Capitalist Pig is first in and says Predator took place in a fictional country called Valverde. It was created to set movies in South American countries without having to deal with political problems.
Okay.
Other movies and shows that use the setting are Commando, Die Hard 2, and Adventure Inc. Then here's a whole bunch of people who just didn't want to listen and put in the same Predator thing. Current generation. You're just making me angry. BG2580. So delete your Twitter account. It's 30 years of Street Fighter. Yeah, we were right about that. Yeah. Varn says, forgot to mention that Titan Quest and its first expansion, Immortal Throne, is coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on March 20th, 2018, on Nintendo Switch in 2018.
Dang.
It'll cost $30 for the standard edition and $110 for the collectors. This was announced today by THQ Nordic.
It's a fun game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Poopy Pants 69 says, not a correction, but you missed the new update Winter Wonderland for Overwatch. It brings new skins, emotes, and voice lines, along with a new game mode called Yeti Hunter and last year's mode Snowball Offense. Thanks for all you do. No, thank you, Poopy Pants 69, for having the best name here on the forum so far. And then, is this Active Game? Oh, I see. Active Gaming Life says Owlboy will arrive on Switch as well as Xbox One and PlayStation 4 February 13th. Because I must have said it was coming sometime in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a motherfucking show. Tomorrow, Gary Whitta returns for Whitta Thursday. It does not roll off the tongue as well as Whitta Wednesday. No, not at all. Thank you if you're watching live for letting us do Kinda Funny Games Daily earlier. I'm going to go over and play Far Cry 5. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I'm going to say it. I'm sure it's embargoed, like actual impressions. But that's why we did things out of order.
Yeah. And you haven't played it yet.
So, exactly.
Who knows?
I'm just announcing what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You want to fucking sue me, Ubisoft? Sue me. Please don't sue me. Please don't sue us. Please don't sue us. Anthony, thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Kind of Funny Games Daily posts each and every weekday, except for the fact that at Friday's our last show for the year, and then we'll be back in 2018. You can catch it live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, podcast services around the globe, and of course, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. No matter where you get it, thank you for your support. Please consider subscribing over at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. It keeps the mics on, and there's none of those service charges to worry about. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.